What is going on, people? So like I promised in my Instagram, me and Fabian got something dropping for you. Now obviously, as you know, because of the restrictions on human contact, we're doing this separately. We're doing this in two individual parts. And the point that I want to make is this self-isolation, the social distancing, is exactly that. It's not isolation, it's isolation, not decimation. Don't give up on all the great habits you have formed over the years as far as improving yourself and as far as staying focused. Don't let a slight change in your schedule, in what you're able to do outside, change what you do inside yourself. Stay as active in here as you possibly can, seeing as you can't be super active in your body. Now, important things to do when you feel like you're coming out of your regular programming, your regular scheduling, regardless of if it's this self-isolation or if it's something else that has challenged you, is to set yourself a schedule every single day. Set yourself a structure. Set yourself mini tasks along the day that you can complete. One, to build confidence. One, to build a forward momentum through the day. Something as small as doing your bed, as making a cup of tea, as doing 10 press-ups when you get out of bed. Something like that starts the day off right, starts the day with momentum, starts the day moving forward. And it's that kind of start to the day that can end up creating something super productive, super powerful, and something that in the end you can be proud of at the end of the day. And that forward momentum from doing those press-ups or setting your bed or anything like that, that could then be a domino effect into having an incredible day, into then having an incredible next day and an incredible week. And this moment of distancing could be a true moment of realizing your self-value, your abilities, and what you're capable of when you're able to look inwards, not just outwards all the time. Another thing you can do is really work out how valuable you are with your time and how much value you get out of every second and every day. Because when we're caught up in the regular goings on of our day-to-day life, like going to and from work, going to and from the gym, whatever it is that we do, it's hard to extrapolate what value you're getting from your time when you're just going through the motions. But in a time of stillness, you can really be critical and really focus on what you're doing with your time. And so take this time to work out how much value are you getting out of every single moment of the day. Because before, when you're on the train to work, you might have only been on Instagram or on TikTok or playing games. Is there a way that you could read a podcast? Is there a way you could listen to a podcast? Is there a way you could read a book? Is there a way you could learn a new skill on the train? Is there a time between you get home and when you go to dinner, you could spend that time having a stretch or learning a new language? Really work out the best way to get value out of every second of every day. And don't get me wrong, rest is valuable as well. So if you really think that once you've had a really, really tough schedule, that at the end of the day, you need half an hour to just completely lie down and relax before you get going again to finish off your day, that's also finding value. Value comes in many different ways. It doesn't have to constantly be doing something, but it does have to be doing something with a purpose. And that is what's the most important about this. Find a purpose in your time. Who do you want to be? What do you want to become? And find things with a purpose that lead to that end goal every single time.
What's going on, people? We are back with that minute motivation in this isolation. What are you telling me? How you lot finding it, staying at home? I've just taken a little walk. Obviously, they said recommend you can still go out, have a walk, have some exercise, but they do tell people to stay home. I've probably walked about 10 minutes from my house and still quite a lot of people out. I don't think some of the nations actually taking this very seriously, and I think it's because it's still early stages and it's not, like, people don't understand the worst hasn't even come yet. Like, it's still very early. Like, this morning I got a message from one of my close friends telling me that he's been off work because he's shown symptoms, and I'm like, wow, like, it's touching closer and closer to home. And I'm urging people to take it seriously. Like, I work on a building site and they've closed my site down. Now, some sites are still open, but the actual separation that people are supposed to take, this distancing, some people are not taking it seriously. Like, these are germs. There's always been germs around, and these can be passed around so easily, and you won't even know that you've got symptoms till 5-10 days later. And you could have been in contact with your parents, your grandparents, loved ones, and you just don't actually know how serious it can be until it hits home, and next thing you know, someone close to you's got symptoms, and you might be able to get over this, but the person close to you may not. They might fall very ill and never be the same again. And this is why I'm urging people to actually start to listen to the government and understand what's going on. But enough of the soppy stuff. Let's actually talk about what we're doing in this isolation. Let's talk about how we can better ourselves. So, who's learning a new skill? Or are you one of those people that are just sitting there playing video games all day? Now, I've challenged myself to try to read a book a week because I've been given 3 weeks off work now, and that's a lot of time on my hands. Now, I'm not going to sit there and play my video game for 6-7 hours a day. I want to read a book. I want to better my knowledge, better my mind, increase my mindset. Now, pick up a new skill. People think it's hard, it costs money, but there's so much out on YouTube that people don't understand. It's real. You can learn to edit pictures off of YouTube. You can learn to edit videos off of YouTube. You can learn how to cook on YouTube. You can learn how to do certain DIY things off of YouTube. There's so much on the internet that people don't understand is actually accessible, and we're not doing it. So now, I've got a friend, she plays for the women's American football team that I play for, and she's a school teacher. Now, she's taking up on her time because she knows she hasn't got work. But all you parents out there that are trying to homeschool young kids, she's now doing reading time every day on her YouTube channel. Now, that's not going to help me. That might not help you, but you don't know if your kid sits there for 20 minutes and watches someone reading them a story, how it's going to benefit them. Now, a lot of you want a break, or you can't take it. You might not be able to take it with your kids being around all the time. But the matter of the fact is, if you put your kid down, yes, they're not watching a TV show, but it's called story time, and someone's telling them a story, and then you can sit there with them and actually ask them, so what did you take in from that story? What was that story actually about? These are all things that you can help get through this isolation and not make it so boring and not make all the days see the same. Now, some people might lack the focus to actually take in a new skill. Now, the thing is, you've got a lot of time right now. Now, the thing, what I'd like to say is that if I told you I'm going to pay you £5 an hour to learn a new skill for the next 10 days and you've got to do 5 hours a day, you'll do it. Because you're sitting at home, you're not doing nothing, and you know, all I've got to do is sit here for 5 hours and I'm going to get £25. It's just that simple. Some people would do it. But that's where you making money control you. You need to learn to control the money. And the reason why I say this is I don't know if some of you saw my Instagram, I'm reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, I know the doctor very well. I've watched a lot of his YouTube, and he makes a lot of sense. But I can't take my head out of this book. And I'm not a big book reader. I'm not a big reader at all. I might read a paper now and then, but when it comes to actual reading a book, I'm not a big reader. And at the moment right now, I can't stop reading this book. And maybe that's what a lot of you might lack, is that you want to read a book, but you don't know what to read. Now, think of subjects you like, find someone that you know will talk about that subject, and maybe buy that book or get that audio book, because sometimes right now you don't have to even read it. Someone can just be talking to you through your headphones, and you could actually be hearing what this book's all about. Then, like I said, there's so many things you can be doing in all this time that you have. Yeah, you could be cleaning the garden, yeah, you can clean your house, but you're still gonna have more time. And what I'm trying to urge people to do is come out this actual isolation better than you entered it. Now, mortgages might be on pause, you might still be getting all your income. Now, what are you doing with that income? Are you just spending it all on food, on drinks, on snacks? Are you investing it? There's so many things that you can do to better yourself through this isolation, and that's why I urge you, keep busy. You have to keep busy. If you keep yourself busy, days will just keep going past, and you start to see your mindset, your actual brain power will actually enlarge. Your mindset, your knowledge will actually increase, and the next thing you know, you have a new skill. Now, some of you might want to start a business. You might have dreamed of always starting a business, and this might be the time for you. Like I said, you've got 6 to 9 hours a day. Yes, you're working from home, but I'm sure there's a lot of you that do your work within 3 to 4 hours. Maybe some of you do it for 6 hours, but there's still a lot of spare time that you have that you could be doing something else. Now, when I say starting a business, you could do all the paperwork. You can create a business with your laptop. That's how crazy it is. You can create the business, the name, get it registered on Company House, and it's all set up, get the bank account all set up, and then once this is all over, you take the next step. Go and meet up with a designer. There's no reason why you're at home and you can't have a FaceTime call with a designer and actually try to get designs done. So when it comes again, this isolation is over, now you're ready to go look at your products. We need to keep this, we need to be serious about this. It's not a joke. A lot of people think it's a joke. I saw people on my site taking it as a joke, and it's not. People all going to parties and thinking yeah, this is nothing, it is what it is. Not really. Now, I understand some people say, oh yeah, but I'm gonna die anyway. I used to think like that. But like I said, you got to think about, it's not about you dying. It's about, you don't know who you're gonna come into contact with and who could pass it on to who. That's the big thing. I remember my last day of work, I was coming home on the tube and I saw a dad taking it with a newborn baby getting on the tube, and I was thinking what are you doing? Do you not understand what's going on right now? And I think that's what it is. A lot of people underestimate what's happening, and when it hits home, it's going to be too late for you to understand that I shouldn't be doing all these things. I shouldn't be out all the time. So please take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and try to better yourself through this isolation. Minute Motivation. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is drug dealing, entrepreneurship, and rappers. Now, I want to start a big subject because I think I want to help keep everyone busy. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about this, I want to see who thinks drug dealers are entrepreneurs. Now, I know my view. I'm not going to say they're entrepreneurs, but I'm going to say they have the skill set. But that's going to be the next video to come out. Start a big discussion. If it gets a good response, then we're going to do a Q&A, maybe a live chat, and hear what people got to say. We're going to just talk about it. We're going to see if everyone thinks the same thing. I'm sure they won't. We're going to see who's going to be biased and see what really people think of drug dealers being entrepreneurs and rappers.